Hey, good evening. I have 6:30. I'm going to call to order meeting number 1891 of the East Windsor Planning and Zoning Commission. We are here live in the John Daly Meeting Room of the East Windsor Town Hall, as well as on the Zoom platform. I'm going to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a quorum. We have all 5 regular members as well as 1 alternate present. Do we have any added agenda items today? We do not. There was a legal notice. The East Windsor Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 25th at 6:30 PM. Detail regarding how to attend will be published on the commission's agenda and will be made available on the town's website. PZ 2025-04. The applicant owner is Aria Hospitality Group LLC, is requesting a zone change, map change from B1 to HIZ, located at 151 Prospect Hill Road, map 112, block 4, lot 26. And PZ 2025-05, the applicant owner is Aria Hospitality, is requesting a site plan review, special use permit for the general development plan for a 20,664 square foot Aldi supermarket and a future restaurant with drive-through located at 151 Prospect Hill Road, map 112, block 4, lot 26, zone HIZ. A full copy of the application is available on the Planning and Zoning Commission's webpage of the town's website. All interested persons may attend this meeting and provide verbal or written comments regarding this application. And this was posted in the Journal Enquirer on March 14th, 2025, and again on March 21st, 2025. Okay, this is the public participation portion of our meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on a topic that is not on tonight's agenda? Is there anyone online that would like to speak on a topic that is not on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of minutes. We have the minutes of March 12th, 2025. Does anyone have any additions, edits, corrections?
Good.
Okay. Nobody has anything. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 meeting 1890 as presented.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 I abstain. And Stacy does so. So minutes are approved.
You get 3?
Yes.
Yeah,
Dave.
Dave, Ann, and Jim.
Yeah.
Okay. Receipt of applications, we have one. PZ 2025-06. Excuse me. Applicant owner is JMC Realty LLC, is requesting a site plan review, special use permit for section 502 of the East Windsor zoning regulations for the construction of a 7,920 square foot commercial building used as a contractor's office and storage yard located at 265 South Main Street, map 12, block 23, lot 57, in zoned B2 and A1. This application will be heard at a future meeting. Performance bonds, actions, permits, extensions, and road acceptance. We have one issue to discuss. It's the calling of the performance bond for Kingshire subdivision. Dan, you want to take us through that?
Sure. The town has been working with the former developer for the subdivision known as Kingshire for a couple of years and have come to a settlement agreement where between the town and Mr. Von Hollander. And in that agreement, the bonds are to be called to the benefit of the town. So the next step would be condition A of that agreement. It says Von Hollander individually and as a member of Kingshire shall immediately and upon the effective date forfeit any performance bonds, including erosion and sedimentation control bonds that are filed with or held by the town in regard to the Kingshire subdivision, and shall execute appropriate documents, including but not limited to a corporate resolution releasing same. Said funds shall be used to complete Napoleon Drive. And that agreement was entered into on the 4th day of February this year.
Has Lenny gone out and looked at it?
All that will happen. It certainly doesn't meet town roads. Joe is putting a bid spec together, so we need to know what, he's got a costing for the project to bring that up to town standard. And so we'll use that cost estimate to seek the funds from the letters of credit.
Okay,
So, but does he feel that there's enough
Enough
bonds
money.
there to cover what needs to be done, or?
I don't know the answer to that. But the settlement
But it's-
is done.
it's-
and We
get
have
what we-
letters of credit file with Webster Bank, and so we'll be reaching out to with the cost estimate.
Gotcha.
okay.
Anyone else have any questions on this? Not, I'll entertain a motion to, what are we gonna call it, to call for the bond?
Please,
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve the calling of all remaining bonds associated with the Kingshire subdivision per the settlement and release agreement entered into on February 4th, 2025 by and between the town of East Windsor and Reinhardt von Hollander.
There is a motion to proceed with the calling of the bonds. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Unanimous. Have no continued public hearings, so we're gonna move on to our new public hearing. First public hearing is PZ 2025-04. The applicant owner is Aria Hospitality Group LLC, is requesting a zone change, map change from B2 to HIZ, located at 115 Prospect Hill Road, map 12, block 4, lot 26. Who's here to speak on behalf of this application?
Good evening.
Absolutely.
Well, the zone change. Okay. So the property one. 1/4 acre of land, which is currently zoned. And the north side of Route 5, approximately 630 feet north. The intersection is 1/4. That paved north is to the right, so the brothers to the south is the Comfort Inn, to the southwest is the Cracker Barrel. To the west, between the site and I-91 is the DOT highway garage. To the north, across the driveway is the car wash. And then to the east across the top, there are 5 residential properties. This parcel is currently maintained as a hayfield, if you've driven by it, and it does have some steep slopes that go down to the north and west. I mentioned this is the first part of the application, the zone change from T3 to the highway interchange zone. HIC offers greater flexibility for the parcels along Route 5, with highway access to the neighborhood. One figure to 44.5. Highway interchange zone was developed as an overlay zone way back when, and therefore the zone change is required to place the zone on the ground so it can comply. This particular parcel is identified on the highway interchange zone map as being within the area eligible for HIC. It's a county zone change. It still has to be consistent with the conservation development between communities. The property is also located in the Route 5 northern business corridor, which is discussed in the conservation. So, and the uses allowed in the HIC are consistent with those uses called for in the conservation development and the Route 5 corridor study, which is what we're proposing here, such as retail and restaurants. So it's consistent with the plan of conservation development, consistent with the Route 5 corridor study. It is shown within the area on the HIC map. That's eligible for HIC. That by itself demonstrates its compatibility with the zone requirements in order to get the scope changed. So, as I mentioned, pretty straightforward. We have any answer any questions regarding the zone change.
Okay, we'll start down the end. Wayne, do you have any questions for this? Stacy? Dave?
With going to HIC, do we have to worry about anybody's property values being changed? Developing that, or is this only too early in that for that worry?
So in order to, there's this general concepts piece that in considering the appropriateness of the HIC, I included that section 504.1. That just 504.1 has the, what you would consider in your role as a commissioner for whether you think the site is appropriate, which it's already been mapped as being appropriate. Your question about property values, I think with this special use permit for the general development plan, you would be considering all those factors.
Okay.
Sorry, David, we didn't hear that.
My concern was the effect of this on the budding people, the abutting residences and its property values based
You're
on.
gonna lose his property value, is that what we're saying?
I don't know. I was just curious if there was going to be an effect, and is that something, is it too early to worry about that?
Well, it's a big worry for us.
I'm sorry, man, we can't have a conversation back and forth. You'll have your opportunity to speak.
We can't hear
Okay.
what you're saying.
No,
Okay, I'll face the other way when I speak.
thanks, David.
Ann, you have anything?
Yeah, I have a question. Under section 500.5, the definition of a highway interchange zone. It says, with minimal negative impact to neighboring areas. And this is the neighboring area I'm concerned about is the R3 zone across the street. And the intensity of the use, basically abutting an R3 zone and residences. So I would like to hear the applicant address that.
The thing that they, one is, this was already approved as a. That really isn't changing, so that's, in answer to your question, really shouldn't change the property values, changing the zone, because the same use is represented. And again, with regard to property values next door, same thing. Both of these are already allowed, we're not asking for anything that different than what is. The other thing I want to point out is in the board study, I've stated that this area, yeah, it's the goal is to eventually phase out the residential along Route 5. It's commercial, which I'm not pushing that, but the fact that commercial being installed across the street is going to only increase the values of that land for commercial use too. Like brings in one.
So I guess I'm asking when we get to the site plan portion, which is another application. I'll want to hear what you're doing to minimize the negative impact to neighbors.
So I kind of concur with Ann. The zone change, yeah, I get that. This was HIZ a long time ago when the CETA came, I believe, right? But I definitely got a lot of questions when it comes to the next section.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. I mean, the zone change is minimal impact. It's not, you're like, say, you're not asking for a use that it can't already currently have a use on. So the bigger portion will be the development plan. Staff have any other questions or comments? No? Okay. So this is a public hearing. Kind of as we've made it, I hope we made it clear, is this portion right now we're going to be discussing is strictly just the zone change, not the development plan, not what they intend to do with the property, just strictly reclassifying it as an HIZ. So does anybody in the public have a question regarding the change of the zone? Yes, sir. Identify yourself, please. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go off the list here. Does everybody who signed up, I would, no.
Peter Zulo, I'm at 154 space over. Just have a question. HIZ zone.
We'll gather all the questions and then we'll see if the applicant can shed some light on this. Next,
My only question was.
please identify yourself, sir.
I'm sorry, Nick Ruggiero, 156 Prospect Hill Road. If everything around it is still B2, then why is it necessary to change this to highway zone? If Cracker Barrel didn't need to be changed to it, if the car wash didn't need to be changed to it, why is the one in between the two need to be changed to it? I mean, honestly, I don't really have a problem with it. I'm just saying, what the difference between those properties and the one in the middle?
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am?
Karen Green, 158 Prospect Hill Road. Are we requesting anything or is this specific to the zoning?
Specifically to the zone change.
No questions as far as.
You know, we,
The-
yeah, no.
I'm sorry, I'm new at this.
Okay, not a problem. Anyone else? Is there anyone online that'd like to speak about the zone change? Tim, would you like to address some of these questions?
Good stuff, yeah. It's a valid question. I see it every day.
It's just. There's a requirement, and there's more for. There's a requirement for the amount of. That's gonna be brought from the highway. Actually, they go. Their judgment. Yeah, I saw it in the traffic, traffic study. Right.
The HIZ zone was created and named as such because of the proximity to the highway. Not that it had,
Not anything.
that it was trying to draw anything off. It was just that it was close to the highway.
Okay.
So in order to be an HIZ, you have to be
Yeah.
within a certain proximity of the highway. Right. I think those were questions. So. Anyone else have any other questions about the zone change?
No.
Not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on application PZ 2025-4. The applicant owner is Ara Hospitality Group LLC, requesting a zone change, map change from B2 to HIZ.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Public hearing is closed. Okay. Does anyone need any additional discussion? Or are we okay to make a
No.
vote on this?
Okay.
We
Okay,
have a motion to do it.
yep.
Got it.
I'll entertain a motion on this application.
I'll make a motion to approve PZ 2025-4. Applicant owner Ara Hospitality Group LLC for a zone change, map change located at 151 Prospect Hill Road, map 112, block 4, lot 26, from B2 to HIZ. This approval is granted subject to conformance with the reference plans as may be modified by the commission and disapproval and the following conditions modifications. The reference plans are Aldi Grocery Store, 151 Prospect Hill Road, East Windsor, Connecticut, map 112, block 4, lot 26, zone B2, sheets 1 through 12, dated March 10th, 2025, prepared by J.R. Russo and Associates. 3 findings. The parcel is eligible for the zone change to highway interchange zone per section 500.5 of the East Windsor zoning regulations. The zone change is in conformance with section 504.1 HIZ general concepts of the East Windsor zoning regulations. Number 3, prior to any development on the property, the applicant will need to obtain approval for a general development plan by a special permit by the East Windsor Zoning Commission per section 504.3 of the East Windsor zoning regulations. And 1 condition, this approval shall be filed on the East Windsor land records.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the application. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Your zone change is approved. Yeah, I will just read it into the record here. And our next public hearing is PZ 2025-05. The applicant owner is Aria Hospitality Group LLC is requesting a site plan review special use permit for the general development plan for a 20,664 square feet Aldi supermarket and a future restaurant with drive-through located at 151 Prospect Hill Road, map 112, block 4, lot 26. Zone is HIZ.
Extension, if you go to the existing left turn lane, right now there's a left turn lane into the Cracker Barrel. Out of this development. Extend that left turn lane up to our driveway intersection. But also up a right turn lane in for southbound traffic. Also, to the north of that, there would be a 95 space parking lot shown. And there's a loading dock way over on the west side of the building, away from all the residences. South dock as well, and that would be the dump that will be located in behind the building. There'll be a sidewalk along the entire frontage to connect from the NOT driveway all the way to the Crackerville driveway. It will be served by public water, sewer, and natural gas, and an on-site stormwater system. The stormwater system will include a series of catch basins and flankers to collect and divert the runoff to a new stormwater treatment unit that will provide the necessary treatment before it discharges to an 24-inch lateral that heads off into the Cracker Barrel site. That 24-inch lateral and the entire drainage system at the Cracker Barrel was actually sized, timed, and approved for the full build-out of this site, including a portion of Route 5, which actually isn't going to go there anyway, so it's conservative. So there is an existing easement, existing drainage easements for that discharge, and we did prepare a drainage study, which was submitted by your town engineer. Site lighting will be a combination of some floor mounted lights and some pole mounted lights, parking lot. Will all be LED. We'll show you what we'll cut off. We'll be providing photometric plan, which demonstrated. We'll provide development. It includes all the landscaping shown on our landscape plan, which is specifically was all. The landscaping includes the perimeter trees, the house, and along the side, and the communities and the stations to the north and west. The signage. So this timelines of the businesses at the vehicles. And they provide detail of that.
Yeah, can you show the, go to the landscape one too, so public can see it. Here's full set. Yeah.
Associated.
Back up.
Sign detail, I think it's a separate.
From the site plan document itself.
Yes, so that would be the unified sign at the final side of the entrance. Addition, and actually maybe I'll keep it up. There is, as I mentioned, we are proposing a high-rise sign for visibility from the highway to be located in the southwest corner. There is details, it's the last sheet. This.
Three.
It's like the times, the location. Location in the plan.
It's
I don't know how big the practical sign is. Highlights, obviously good to me. Other section underneath it. Showing this at 65 foot maximum And they were requesting, there would be 200 square feet each side. There was a typo on the general, which I want to put out. One possible people, just the side of the home, so he creates that 200. Outside control. These numbers are consistent with what was most recently. For the things like we have down at Wendy's, Signature sign, and the KFC, Taco Bell, and Bank. Different sign sign to be the same. These numbers here.
I
And then, of course, there will be building wall signs.
Can you show us on that?
Yeah, it's not a
It's
location.
gonna go.
It's gonna be located in the south.
Oh, okay.
corner. Future dumpster for the rest of it.
On site. It's on.
On the general.
There.
Yeah.
See it here on those.
All right, sign, yeah.
So in addition to those signs, you'll get the ball mounted signs on the building. Those sizes and are, again, they are outlined on the general development plan. Try to be consistent with what we've done at the locations. In addition, when we get to the architectural. We'll be able to show those signs. You can look up on. The restaurant. Traffic study prepared. We look at both sites, section at Route 5, the site driveway, Route 5, and Route 140, and 140, and 991 with some outside. And the traffic study concluded that the project is not expected to have significant impact on the operating conditions of the project area, and have all exceptions will continue to operate at acceptable levels. We did receive, actually, at this point in time, I think I'll let you know, go through the architecture. Architecture. The traffic.
Not until we.
We got lots of questions too.
So we're proposing this same building. The break obviously comes on building better than it is. Separate store, which we the car over here, which is our standard cement box application. The plastic would be the side of the building of the close well behind, and then this is the side of the building, truck back in the rear along the back of the building. Obviously, the part of the building is used as a retaining wall due to the existing slopes on site. Signs of 75 square feet, 75.1 total signage. Our signs are temporarily illuminated. They go off when the store closes or when they send the alarm. So our stores are open from 8 to 9, 7 days a week. We're closed 5 of the major holidays, and we have an energy management system, so when the employees leave, the lights turn off at the store as well, including the sun.
Questions later regarding that, features or anything, you know. We did receive a copy of the town engineers. memo. We gave a bunch of work and files. Also received a copy of the King's memo. If you get it, through outstanding issues, I'll just try to go through those now. Four, the phasing. Phases, obviously, the first phase is always, involving, it will include all the restaurant, and outside, it's parking lot, access driveway, and improvements in the highway. Five, I believe that the building line she is referring to is actually, there's a lease line that cuts down next to the driveway, but it pretty much approximates where phase one is. Anything in the restaurant is on the south side of that, and that would be aesthetic. You could point the time, that this drive, that you to the north, will be part of the initial construction of the home. She points out that on our landscape plan, we do not include the perimeter trees that are shown on a general development plan to the south. And we initially did that thinking that, that the south really at this point in time is conceptual. Things could change and people could get those. This one, we did not include those on the phase one landscape plan with the always, if you will. However, we agree that the perimeter trees along the south here, probably locations are not going to change because they're outside of the building area within the building line. So we would agree to add those to the phase one landscaping as a condition. Six, she mentions that at the staff meeting, there was a request to connect the sidewalk to the adjacent hotel premises. We are proposing a sidewalk all across our frontage. The Hilton Inn at this point is under separate ownership. Therefore, we do not have or go on the property to make such a connection. I think therefore what we can do, bring the sidewalk across our frontage, bring it to the back of the sidewalk, and then from there, it's in front of somebody else's property. 7, requested traffic flow plan. We cleaned up at this stage. The first couple of pages there are the need for building steps going there back to the parking. That's how they're going to back up to the loading dock and I take the site and it kind of gets at the site or the curbs and the islets and everything at each side or sides appropriately to allow for that. She asked about a discussion, after discussion about the anticipated cost, whether this is. Based on that. Benefits such as job creation for employees, job creation for contractor services, for construction. We also feel that it's going to draw people to East Windsor. Use other places, providing alternatives for both shopping, restaurants, and that's what you attract you. They come to businesses, these other businesses can come as well. Regarding the costs, delivery departments typically don't generate significant cost to the town. There's some emergency services costs, which it's not for this year. Not be and there may be also a small expense associated with just the general government having to account for an additional business in town. But business routine. So really, we feel that the benefits, of the, as well as the indirect benefits, far outweigh the cost that the town is subject to. And finally, for item 9, the question regarding parking. In my conclusion, based on the town's parking requirements and the size of the buildings, Aldi requires 113 spaces and the restaurant requires 24 spaces for a total of 1/3. On the general development plan, we're showing the 95 spaces for Aldi's, as well as an additional 19 spaces in front of the restaurant and 12 stacking spaces for the restaurant as well for the drive-through. Aldi's, based on their experience at other stores, they have a knowledge of what they need for parking. And for a store of this size, they need 95. That's why we have designed the parking lot for 95 at their site. And that's why we're proposing the 95 there. So that does leave, when you look at the layout plan, we're showing those 95. I believe we're showing 5 deferred spaces here, which still leaves another 13 that are deferred, which we're not showing on the layout plan. But if you look at the general development plan, you'll find that between the parking at the restaurant and the parking provided by the Aldi's, when those are built, we will only need to defer 11 spaces. And we are showing where we could fit those if we need to on the general development plan. So rather than add those deferred spaces all on the Aldi's plan, I showing them on the general development plan. And that's why the numbers aren't necessarily met. But when the restaurant's constructed, those additional, there will be extras that will be used to knock off a number of the ones that will be deferred for the Aldi's in there. And the last thing is actually probably the high-rise sign. And I do want to make sure that if you do act on that tonight, that you do put in there, to change that number to 200 square feet instead of 100 in there. You did question, what have we done to try to lessen the impact? I think the layout of the site is one of the things that we've done by completion of the building and putting the things in the front this way, as opposed to, most of it, they're getting the side of the building, main entrance here, parking down here. We shifted the driveway as far to the south as we can. And the other thing to consider is that the right of way here in front of our site is actually 100 feet. So there's typically a right of way is 50 feet in this town. So there's an additional buffer kind of built into this site, just based on its location and the fact that we're adjacent to a 100-foot right of way as far as to the end of the process. I believe that covers everything that I have.
Okay. All right, I'll start off. So, couple things. It's, to me, I'd like to see on the drawing what is going to be constructed phase 1, what's going to be constructed phase 2. To delineate exactly where you're going to stop construction, because obviously you said the restaurant's going to come later. Because based on the site lighting, the phase 2 lighting in the restaurant portion would be illuminating your driveway entrance. And if you don't construct that in phase 1, you're not going to have illumination at your entrance.
All the, on that photometric plan is all for phase one.
Well, that's again, where it's not delineated exactly what's gonna get constructed in phase one, but these are the locations of your lights, correct?
They are, so anything beyond the general development plan,
So you said this property line was gonna be where it stopped, right? So this light here,
that's a catch basin.
okay, the catch basins,
Yeah.
okay?
So all the
Where's-
lighting shown on the utility plan. Actually, yeah. So we're not, lighting phase two at this point in time. They're only showing the lighting.
So what's gonna illuminate your entrance?
We have, this.
Way
This
back
right
there.
there, and there is a light on that pole. An existing street. light. Out way beyond.
Trying to see which drawing it was, as far as showing the travel of tractor trailer traffic, be able to get onto that dock. It does show it kind of pulling into the queue line of the drive-through. So,
You have to-
well, but if it's already full of cars in there, in the queue line,
Think there's some.
sorry?
Another question.
Okay, so no deliveries occurred during operating hours? Well, even how far of that drive-through lane is gonna be constructed in phase one will affect on how far the truck can pull in and back into there.
This provides a clean one time, that, that shorter distance. That one, that.
Based on where you've got these island curbs drawn up, and he comes straight down the line. When he comes up to the end of that turn, he's gotta make a left-hand turn in order to get his box straightened out. So
It's tight.
well, here, he's gonna come in down this line here.
No, okay, that's the exit.
The arrows are pointing in.
Yeah, but the arrows are the line striping. So the first page, I apologize, I should have made this clear, is the tractor trailer truck. He comes in and he backs into the dock.
So that's tight too. That's really tight.
Tractor trailer, so the loading dock is gonna drive across all the pedestrian access.
And
The tractor trailer truck has, which is why they do most of the deliveries at night.
So you run a night crew?
Thought they were closed at.
So they're closed.
Unless the truck.
Nights, you have your deliveries after it's closed, right?
Who's gonna receive it?
So we're not closed at 9 o'clock. We're still allowing other people in. Yeah. Okay, so you closed at 8 PM. How long will you be accepting deliveries? I'm sorry, Mike, I apologize. Again, it just kind of, when the trucks go out, it get like.
Do you see kind of the confusion? You said that the sign goes off when you close the store and set the alarm, so if you're gonna still be accepting deliveries, you're closed, but your sign is still on.
So the store lead, the driver still has access to the store, it's closed.
The driver offloads his own load.
Correct. Yeah, so we come, the way Aldi does, it's one truck, one delivery, goes directly to the store. It's less than an hour.
And when he turns the alarm off, the sign's not gonna go back on?
No, because there's two sets of alarms, one for just the back room, freezer,
Okay,
so the store's laid out. Here's the dock, here's the back room. The driver has access to everything in the freezer in the back room. He does not have access to the sales floor.
okay.
If he walks in the sales floor, the alarm goes off, stays in the back room, puts his cooler into the product away, and goes on carrying.
Okay. Tim, you made a statement about that the sidewalk can't construct on someone else's property. Aren't you building a sidewalk in the right of way?
In the state right away, yeah. But I can't build it.
Oh, in here. I thought up in here.
Because there was people coming from the hotel are gonna try to,
Cut
they're
across
not
that
gonna
way.
go to the road and over. So
Gotcha.
he's talking about, to cross.
Okay,
line.
okay. I thought we were trying to tie in at the front. Okay. Let's see. There's a question as far as in our regs, it talks about parking setback of 25 feet. And based on this drawing, it looks to me like it's maybe 10 feet. Okay, so is that on your application requesting a modification of that?
Nice if you suggested it.
Well, what other non-conforming or modifications to our regs required here? Because again, I don't think the numbers match as far as your total parking spaces because you're kind of relying on phase two parking, which again, we've approved a lot of things that phase two never happened or it happened a long time later.
Right, but phase two parking, we still don't think
But the regs call for it.
the regs call for it, and the regs call it that if you don't want to. So anything that's.
But the regs say you need 137.
Yep.
So,
But he wants
So. Development plan that we can build them if they become necessary. We don't think they're necessary because all these things, but. Well, I don't know.
So then whose authority determines if they're necessary or not?
that will never happen.
That's, you know,
That's at, you guys, have it in your regulation to allow preferred spacing. So if it's, somebody determines that if they don't have enough, then
Where do they,
you put them in.
you think back to the addition that Walmart put on when they modified their general development plan. They deferred about 10 spaces back there.
And they need every one of them now too, because they built that thing on the side. Now they need every space. That place is full.
But that's when they deferred.
Yeah.
When they put the addition.
On the back of the for employee parking. On the backside. Anyways,
all right, I'll let someone else go ahead.
I'm ready to go.
Jim.
yeah, so I'd like to see all the deferred spacing in there and on the counts for your parking spaces, are you counting the cars in queue too? Yeah, but that doesn't go to phase two, though. I think you're short on spaces, to be honest with you. Well, all these is not the town, we are. Also, traffic study. Did anybody take in consideration the building down the road across from Dunkin' Donuts, the one that's already built, Calamar? Did anybody take that in the equation with the traffic study?
Steve,
I'm gonna tell you the answer. They didn't. Because 3.12, traffic growth due to other planned developments, they took in consideration the two warehouses, the Penske places, they did not take consideration Calamar or the other one that's, well, the other one's not done yet or approved yet.
Department.
Another apartment's coming in, so there's more stuff coming in, which was never even considered on a traffic study. Yeah, it's 3.12 on the traffic study. What else they have? Truck delivery hours, we talked about that. Attorney radius, you talked about that. I'll let somebody else go for now. I'm sure we're gonna have more. Go ahead, yeah.
If I understood what you said and what I read in the traffic study, on Route 5, there's no traffic signal, that there's going to be I'll call it left-hand lane. But on the picture you just gave us, there's something that looks like a signal light. Okay. I guess I share what Jim has said, that I think that there's a lot of added residents potentially coming to the area of Bridge Street, 140, Route 5. And if they all, and are likely to want to go to Aldi's, I'm not convinced the traffic can handle it without it.
That's not our call anyways, and then that.
No, it's
that's-
not, but the traffic study,
Correct. Yeah.
if.
the Calamar that is, I'll say, semi-constructed. And there's proposal for another 300-unit apartment complex. So when you start adding that, that's a lot of residents all.
They're gonna be running up the road to all
Oh,
these,
exactly. So your parking lot undersizing and
deferring your 18 spots. It's not, it might not be a good idea now.
plus the traffic study needs to assume that added burden to the road. And I do think you need to give us additional thoughts on how this intensive a use up against an R3 zone impacts the people in the R3 zone. The lights go out, those are good things, you know,
The benefit.
but
Yeah.
those are good parts of your design. Having the building face away from them is a good part of the design. But that's a lot of traffic impacting. Can they get out of their driveways?
I don't think they had a choice with the building because they would have never even came close to parking if they put it the other way.
Okay, but from
Yeah.
the lights impacting the neighbors, it's a good design.
Yes.
Dave, yeah.
My concern is delivery schedules. Yeah, you guys say you close at 8 o'clock. Where then, how late are we running trucks in there after hours that are gonna be disturbing everybody across the street with tractor trailers? When we shut off, are our parking lot lights dimmed like the rest of the building is dimmed? Or they stay the same brightness all night? Then if tractor trailers come in, our parking lot lights getting dimmed? Not dimmed so people can see as they maneuver from the parking lot.
The safety lights, the truck dock. For us. When it comes to deliveries.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, just trying to figure out when we're gonna hear backup alarms at 9 or 9:30 at night, trying to.
Great.
Park at the dock, the truck shuts off, they unload in like an hour, and they leave, there's never a trailer in the dock, you only have one receiving bay, that's it. You don't have like the typical supermarket, you have 2 or 3, nothing gets left on the dock, they come in, they deliver their stuff on pallets, and they leave for the day. We have the benefit of getting both. You guys are not driving our distribution center in South Windsor, delivers all the way to Riverhead, Long Island at the tip to Rutland, Vermont. So we do huge. Right now, we come, we deliver, they're done in less than an hour and they're gone. I think for even say, no one likes to have trucks or hear trucks, but for us, and we have stores throughout Connecticut, we have stores in residential areas. We've never had an issue with our truck.
One potential truck a day?
I mean, it depends how busy the store is. It might be 2 trucks a day, might be one truck a day. There's milk that comes in, where it's a much smaller comes in 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week, depending on how busy the store is. That comes in around 9, 10 a.m., delivers the bossies and goes on its way. That's even like, that's probably like 15 minutes like delivery. I mean, obviously, you run a fishing store, probably see, because hunt for our customers. You have to run like a well-oiled machine.
And the lighting, just to clarify, for the truck delivery, would be around the back.
Yeah, there's wall packs on the building.
It's not gonna,
It's not-
Okay, but it's gonna impact anybody.
and maybe where it is in relation to the building, maybe the building muffles that
Well,
noise.
it's 4 feet, it's recessed about.
Does a parking lot lighting go to a reduced lumen or it goes completely dark?
We can reduce it, we can go completely dark. If there's gonna be another user like the restaurant, depending on what their hours are, there'll be something that has to be set with. But typical storage, it shuts off, the store shuts.
So it does go to a reduced lumen.
Well,
It has the capability, he says.
Okay. So far.
Talking about this delivery, is there an end of the day time that's just too much to make a delivery? Right, every time we're there, like, if you can't make it before 10 p.m., you have to come the next day, or is there any policy?
no, I mean, drivers time out to meet DOT regulations, that's like 12-hour. You know.
So they can-
So
So they can
obviously-
deliver 24 hours a day if they, like you could receive 24 hours a day.
Based on the location, typically we don't receive product while the store is open. Just because obviously with parking and customers, we don't receive them. There are the occasional where we do. For stores, depending on how busy it is. But I can't say that would never happen.
We receive a delivery anytime,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I would like to read this sometimes, they hide. Route 5 is a heavily traveled road. And with trucks are going up and down Route 5 all the time. You might, and I imagine if there's a snow event, that state highway garage is very busy. The trucks moving around. So,
I would say the truck, turning, and obviously, I just can reference a store that's close in South Windsor. The truck turning plan that you saw is very similar to what you see at the existing South Windsor store. It's almost exact, just as far as the layout goes with the dock on the side of the building.
We'll see those trucks as they run up and down Route 5, they're not turning into anybody's driveway, shining lights into their houses at 10, 11, and 12 o'clock at night making deliveries. You're right, they are just running up and down Route 5.
State trucks, however.
Their driveway, the one town garage driveway. Now we're gonna have all these parked across 5 or 6 residential houses. The state garage is only across 2 of them. Wider array, just talking, not.
But I take the argument. We're gonna have a lot of traffic.
One truck.
Well, you can make the argument too, it snows maybe 10 times a year, all these comes every day of the week.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a state highway.
Redevelopment. Similar plans that we're hearing for all these, or they're gonna put some regulations on. All night, 24-hour restaurant here.
Yep, come back for site plan approval, and if the use was different than the restaurant with drive-through use, I don't even know, we would have to have a modification of the general plan of development. So that would come back to you.
Actually, that's a good parking. Like this one. It's going to do that from down.
Well, just so I'm clear, if we go back, if we should continue, then we go and make modifications to that. Is it the general feeling that the whole 118 basically for all we could time, or can we defer some of them? I just trying to get an idea of, is some deferral acceptable? Or are we looking to keep
And the sales floor considered, because the sales floor is like 4,500. I mean, it tends not long, maybe for me. But all the 20 years, we can go, let's see, 15, I think the standard, healthy, a lot of it's not. Leave that up, that's the requirement for the 5 single home. People come in, they shop, not really typically hang around at the store. So we do cycle through relatively quickly on customers, even at the busiest stores. The South Windsor store has more than 95, I think it has 104, that's the way it kind of worked out. So wrong, the sales floor is 12,500, the remainder of the space is back room space, so that a lot is for parking should be allocated to the sales floor.
Could you help us understand? I've been in the South Windsor Aldi. I've been in the Enfield Aldi. I agree they are small stores. You have X number of people working and you can only fit however many people in at a time. What's your, I'll say, peak time of employees plus shoppers?
I mean, obviously the weekends are the heaviest. Sundays have become biggest grocery day for us in Connecticut. It's generally been that way. One weekend, obviously, it was all over the place because no one was working, but on Sundays has returned to be our business.
So the peak time on Sunday, how many people in the store?
Typically, one store may have 400, 500 customers a day. There's stores in New York City that have close to 2,000 customers a day. In that time.
But at the peak, I'll say half hour. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say even busiest, probably 50. I mean, at that point, I mean, we have nice big aisles, but it's a little bit crazy at that point.
And there's only one checkout open usually.
Sometimes.
You all set, Steve? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike, you had.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on the parking. So the parking tables that are in the zoning regulations really are an attempt to generalize all uses. And so the parking designation for a supermarket that we're dealing with here is going to be the same for a Walmart or for a Big Y or any of those other uses. And they were probably established 20 or 30 years ago. It is not in any operator's best interest to have less parking than their customers need, because if you can't find parking, you leave. So I would suggest you consider, because establishing more parking because the commission feels is needed, but the applicant doesn't, is going to generate more stormwater. It's going to generate more snow plowing needs. It's going to generate a whole bunch of other things. And if they're not needed, should they be constructed? You have the ability to determine that those deferred spaces are needed when they get their site plan approval for phase two. So if phase one is constructed and you firmly believe that they're parking on the lawn, you can make them install those deferred spaces. You have a second bite at the apple. I have personally reviewed these types of uses in all the operations in several towns in Connecticut, and it's pretty consistent, and shop with them myself. And so I think you have an opportunity to refine that count if you think that it's not operating properly. But I would suggest you sort of consider the alternatives to building more spaces, because many towns are eliminating parking requirements altogether because they're finding that zoning regulations don't flex well enough to the operation. So don't put more stock in the zoning regulations that maybe you all wrote 20 years ago, but you will have an.
I thought we just changed the parking regs a little while ago. I would have changed the parking space regs.
I don't believe for this use.
For houses.
Yeah.
Right, that was for
Yeah.
multifamily only.
So the one thing that is in the regulations with regard to the deferred parking is the ability for the commission to make that determination, and then there's like a 6-month timeframe for it to be built.
So let's say this goes in, this is a bottleneck, this is a mess. Can we deny phase two and then make them put parking there?
You can make them build the spaces the zoning regs require.
Just the deferred spaces?
Up to the number that's required on.
Yeah, the 130 step.
Yeah.
But I think what Ruth is saying is, regardless of phase two, if within 6 months of the deferral, if phase two happens in 10 years and 6 months from go live on phase one, it's not working, you can say, we've looked at this, you're putting it
Built or
in.
deferred.
So the first thing I thought when I saw this space, I said, man, that's tight. Gonna be real close to parking at the store. I thought it was gonna be really tight, and it is. I'm worried about everybody else. I think this is gonna bottleneck. I'm not sure. But, you know, I don't know. I'd like to go to South Windsor and take a look over there, see how that operates. But I just don't want to approve something and then we, kick ourselves in the butt, say, man, it's a train wreck over there, like Costco. You go to Costco on the weekend? It's a mess. And they got a zillion parking spaces. That's my only fear.
Well, I kind of anticipate similar happening is on opening, there's gonna be a traffic cop out front and they're gonna be, turning people away because it's something new. So that's where I like the 6-month plan, that 6 months down the road, if it's still a traffic nightmare. Now you gotta do
Get it
something.
remediated.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go forward.
All right, Stacy, you got anything else? Wayne?
Yes.
down into the Cracker Barrel thing. So when the Cracker Barrel was designed and approved, it was designed not only for full build out here, it was designed to handle the Cracker Barrel runoff, the runoff from the Comfort Inn site, and the runoff from this site. So that's all been sized to accommodate this additional impervious area.
Okay. Okay, so, now the wall, you know, the wall in back, the big container?
It's, no, they're gonna basically use the building. That's the thing. So the foundation will step down to the low point of the back and then step back up. So that's this rear corner.
Everything is sloping, the parking area and then drive the slope to the back.
Now, for the most part, if you look at the grading plan, it slopes somewhat to the back, but in the main parking area, it's actually coming more to the north. So, everything is roughly like that.
From the product, within the building.
Well, from the building, it's going toward, these are all on road sides. So this is, that's going that way, that's going that way.
Fence the back at all?
There is actually, I think there's an existing fence on the property line at the toe of the slope, which is probably associated with highway.
You think there's one there?
It actually is showing now. There is a fence that wraps all the way around the west and the north side of the line.
In the lane, you can go off from the store, go trucks, so you know, lights coming out, and then with the trucks, so that's. Okay, what about snow removal? We plan on putting, you know, we haven't had one. Nonetheless, you know, we're due. We're due, so.
Well, there are items to put it in, and then we also have the areas off to the north of this slope. There's no wetlands that we're, looking into. We have areas to our snow off to the west side here.
You can go to
Okay,
you can go to
well, they gotta get rid of it somewhere. That's the best way to do it. That's the opportunity, that's the place to put the snow if there's not enough room in the island.
okay.
One other question, Tim. You're deferring all the EV charging stations. They're just EV ready, but you're not actually going to install any?
Right, yes, that would be nice.
That's what they're.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Anybody else got anything else? Okay, so this is a public hearing. I'm gonna open it up to the public. I'll call you in the order that people signed up. If your questions were answered, you don't have to speak. First one is Peter Azullo. Okay, so Nick Ruggiero.
I want to jump back on the traffic. You guys did discuss two apartment complexes opening up and what that will do for traffic, especially the stoplight coming up Bridge Street. Taking the left there now, you only get about 5 cars at a time. And you have the DOT also taking that left, which slow down traffic all the time. The Kenworth, because you have Kenworth down the street, you're gonna have the other warehouse being built behind the corporation in Enfield, just past the line. They're gonna build a gigantic warehouse there. So that's more heavy traffic going that way. But what nobody's taken in consideration is the crash history analysis was taken from January 2020 to December 2022, which was during the peak of COVID. And there were half as many cars on the road. As it is right now, we have problems getting out of our driveway. When there's an accident on the highway or the worst on the highway, the traffic backs up all the way up the street, all the way to our house. So just getting out of our driveway already, not adding what they're set on 250 cars a day, I believe it is. Something like that. And and then if you add the coffee shop later, you're talking an incredible amount of traffic with the coffee shop. The Aldi's isn't as bad as the coffee shop is. And, my other question was the lights, obviously, they said if they turn them off at night, that's fine with me. The EV parking is a concern because I don't want people parked out in front of my house, 2 o'clock in the morning, charging the car. So I guess those were my biggest concerns, and property value, obviously, what it does to us across the street. We still are a residential area. People have to take that into consideration. So I understand it's business across the street. It wasn't when I moved in there. There was a house across the street, not a car wash. So that's it. That's all I got. Go ahead.
Okay, so Tim, I guess probably the best thing is we'll gather all the questions and then we'll let you address it at one point. Okay, so Peter Zullo?
Yeah, so I'm Pete Zulo, 54 Prospect Hill Road. I emailed stuff, so some of the words I'm just gonna hit. I think it's a concern. I mentioned the 95 spots. Something to note, I feel like is that's a bare minimum to get an Audi franchise. So that is something. Look at the, and yeah, those part of the first parking spots go. That's a temporary approval for a temporary reduction. It's not permanent. So I did want to mention that. That's what it looks like to me in the regulations. As far as traffic goes, in the traffic study, Saturday peak hour, the supermarket's going to bring in, they say 148 cars per hour. And they're only giving 95 spots. I looked up the American Use Time Study that was done by the Bureau of Labor Relations about how long people spend grocery shopping, and it's about 0.87 hours on a weekend. So if you do that calculation out, that means they need 129 parking spaces to accommodate the customers based on the number of customers they're saying is going to bring in versus the average time. And then if you add into that, they're saying 106 cars per hour for the coffee shop. And with the new drawings that they gave us today, we see that it actually is a Starbucks. And I don't know if any of you have driven by a Starbucks, but the drive-throughs are always crazy. So I can see the parking being a massive concern, big backup. With a new car added every 3 to 7 seconds, I think, based on their traffic study. So it's just gonna be complete chaos. We're not gonna be able to get out of our driveways. So I'm asking that you take that into consideration. Again, it was brought up earlier about the parking spaces in the front are only set back 10 feet, whereas the regulation is 25. Something to note also, the requirement for property limit is 50 feet, and based on their development plan, it looks like it's only 30 feet. 30 foot. But the HIZ comes, they're relying, it's just, that's another change that's going to be needed to go into the HIZ. Is front setback. Escape buffer. With the industrial use and residential use being so close to each other, there's provision to have evergreens planted 20 feet apart and 2 staggered rows in between the properties. So there's the concern regarding headlights of the trucks, also cars. For me particularly, my driveway is in here. And so the entrance and exit to the Albies is right in front. And there's really no buffer. So as people are coming in and out of the store, they're gonna be looking directly at my house. So for me, it's a privacy concern. So I'm asking that you impose that landscape buffer. And just to take into account the effect that it has on the neighborhood. The Starvishes that live next door, their driveways would be right across the street. So I feel for them because it's gonna have a very large impact. And not to mention, again, they're squeezing so much into a small property. And this developer owns 67 acres at 35 North Road. That would be much better suited for something like this. So I ask that you take that into consideration.
Okay. Karen, and I'm sorry, I can't read the
Sorry,
green.
I'm at 158 Prospect Hill Road with my neighbor here. Again, we're talking about
Speaking of
traffic
the podium, Mike,
lately, like.
Karen, would you mind going up to the podium?
there's a microphone over there, that's why. People online can hear you. Well, no, it's over there, it's on the table.
It's on the podium.
What is?
Last past year, we've had multiple accidents on the highway as increased traffic, either going north or south. And it's at least once a month we have traffic. And one day it was 3.5 hours backed up both ways. How are we gonna handle this extra traffic? Nobody really pays attention to that part of town. We're always by ourselves down there. I'm worried about the traffic because we can't get out now when they're both backed up both ways. And it's something between Bridge Street and King Street on the highway. There's a problem over there, or it's consistent all the time now. It's not like a once in a while issue. The other thing is, we have the car wash that's not following protocol. How can we trust that anybody else is gonna trust you protocol? They don't turn their lights off like they're supposed to. And the garbage that comes over just from that particular facility, what's gonna happen with all these? And the coffee shop, there's no barriers to protect our property. Looks like a junkyard. You can go in my house and see it looks like a junkyard on the side of the property from all the stuff coming over. I think a barrier needs to be put up larger than what they're talking about. It's not fair to us that we have to clean that garbage up constantly. And we don't even have a pavement or anything to between the road and our property. Nothing. It's road and then property. There's nothing to protect our at any given time. And we've had multiple cars come either on our property, flip over on our property. And that was just on a regular basis now that the traffic's so much heavier. And the speed on Route 5 in that area, whether it's not posted or they don't see it, the speed is horrendous. You've had even trucks, even today, with the cars. If you had to stop quickly, it would never happen. You're going way too fast on Route 5, where we are, and the traffic is. There's gonna be a lot of problems there. Hopefully we can figure this out. And safety for the community, for my neighbors. Who's gonna protect us? We never see the police over there because we're quiet. We don't need them. And there's nobody to protect us over there. We're like working little children over in that corner. And always have been. I've been there for over 24 years. And it's been quiet so far, but I don't anticipate it being quiet after all this development. That's basically it, because the neighbors kind of covered a lot of it, so I appreciate it, and like I said, it's my first time out, so I appreciate it too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan Pleski?
Dan Plesky, Wright Street Club. Now, it's one of those, the 300 mixed use that would end up down over here on North Road has perked my interest. So with this coming up and seeing signs of life on the Connect 55, and it seems like they're looking to rent, and things are moving forward on that, I started dabbling in this. And looking at this, and unfortunately, my first problem you have the curb cuts, and what this doesn't show is any of the housing along here. So it makes it very tough to visualize how close the proximity of the houses are to this R1 zone, to this new instead of the B2 zone. It took multiple maps, not necessarily the town maps, to get some kind of a concept, just looking in. I don't think the traffic study is, put it this way, is good enough for the board. That traffic study doesn't take into account the 300, which J.R. Russo is also working on. You have the new warehouse that's coming down here in Enfield. That Connect 55. The best that I can figure out of all these is they're looking to draw traffic from Windsor Locks. Because you have Geisler's. Geisler's does a heck of a business with people from East Windsor and Windsor Locks, because it's straight across that 140 bridge. Well, they're probably not, the residents are probably not gonna go up 91 to come back down King Street to come in here and turn down. They're gonna come up North Road. They're gonna bang a left and come in here. So I don't think that really reflects what is going on. The Connect 55, it's 55 plus. So that means that people still could be working at 55 to probably 62 to 65. That's not, the traffic study doesn't take any of that into account. That's one of the big things. And so I've looked at it some more. And in the mid-90s, I spent time doing parking lots. And the parking lots happened to be mainly shopping malls and also grocery stores. Those are not done during normal business hours. Those are done after hours. So sweeper truck is usually not self-powered off of the truck itself. It's usually a second engine that's on it, small diesel Kubota, something along that line there. It's usually a back truck. Those come in, you might be running 1 o'clock at night. First thing you have to do is, if you're a sweep truck, you come up through, you have to go through and blow the sidewalks off with a blower. That blower back in the day was gas powered. Don't say it's gonna be battery powered. You're still gonna hear the blower. You have to go through, hit all the receptacle plants that are out there. You're gonna have like I said, here, I can't see anybody's home here unless you're trying to overlay. And Mr. Sherry touched on snow removal. Nowhere in here, you have your overflows. This parking lot is most likely gonna be a skid steer, possible loader, and a pickup to do it. That loader and the skid steer is gonna be parked there, taking up parking spaces during normal business hours during the wintertime. Yes, the snow will probably end up over to there. but I think they're kind of hurting on spaces. So all these, is it it's 295 Rice Street, correct? Is it 295 Rice Street is?
Warehouse.
Warehouse. Yeah, so they exit going south on Rice Street, bang the right onto Sullivan Avenue, boom, come up Route 5. That truck's gonna come down, comes in, comes out. Now Starbush's driveway is over here. That truck comes out in the middle of the night. He's not gonna be leaving his lights off. He's gonna have his lights on. Same thing with truck, same thing with coffee shop traffic. Coffee shops don't close they don't open at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're open early. And you're gonna have all the traffic with the lighting, the vehicle lighting coming out, shining right on the cars. You just put it out there. You've got to clean. It's gonna be a very interesting one. One thing that, again, looking at it, these parking spots, nobody knows how to back in anymore. Everybody pulls in. So not being able to see where the houses are easily here, those lights are gonna be coming. You're gonna get, like I said, nobody backs in anymore. So they're gonna be pulling in. So every time somebody pulls in at night, not so much during the summertime, but during the wintertime hours, you're gonna be seeing those lights. It's packed. There's a bunch of, let's see, what was the other? Because at first I thought he had said 8 to 9, but then I come back to being 9 to 8 p.m. And now we're talking that it's a Starbucks. It'll definitely be competing with the large amount of Dunkin' Donuts that we have here. So they will be going early in the morning. You got the hours, the DOT, if the DOT comes out for their guys, again, they're coming straight back, they're either coming down, getting off the King Street exit, coming in here, back up 91 and out. I would not want to be the R1 zone over in here. I think there's quite a few more questions that are gonna need to be answered for the board. Taking a quick look at it. Cracker Barrel, everything's in the back. The store faces that way. With Ride Street, 295 Ride Street, and I'm on the southern end of the Ride Street, about a mile and a half from that 295. Last night was not a night that I could hear it because of the fog. I can usually hear trucks at Aldi's. I can hear a reverse alarm come on. I can hear them connect to a trailer. I can hear them about a mile and a half away, the crow flies through the woods. Connect to the dock. Because you have to have your dock level when you connect. You hear that funk in there. And again, sweeping and plowing in my lifetime. A lot of stuff in a supermarket happens after hours. Where Geisler's is situated, you aren't gonna hear a thing down there. This, everybody's up in here. I would not want to be Mr. Zullo living here with everybody able to look and to see what he's got on the evening TV. That's me in a nutshell. I thank the board for the time and I thank everybody else.
Okay, Randy Clifton.
I'm new at this, and I may be completely out of line here, but I've got a question on something other than this project. Is there a time where I can ask that question?
Yeah, that would be during the public participation portion of our next meeting. That we already had that earlier. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that'd like to speak that did not sign up? Yes, sir.
Peter Clark.
Peter Starvish. You mind coming up so everybody can hear you?
I just got a couple of them. Obviously, we're located right here. This is our driveway right here, across from here. So there's going to be an extension to the left-hand turn coming in here. Curious to find out how much the curb cut is gonna be coming down this way here. I know they did another one for Cracker Barrel. And see how that's gonna work out. It's gonna obviously probably take some of the front yard of our house. I don't know if it's gonna go back down this far here. You know, I did get a chance to look at some of the stuff online. As far as the traffic study, of course, I don't know, it's about 1,000 pages long. But I've lived there, grew up there since 1962. So I've seen a lot of changes, you know. So we were worried about the Cracker Barrel and the hotel and stuff like that too, you know. You know, this really, and I'm not saying it's the greatest use for this, but it's not a bad use for it. I started a job, a whole piece up in Enfield there. The 94 spaces, it probably would work because I've noticed, and I shop at all things. I shop at Geiss's, I shop at Walmart. All these customers are different. You have to put a quarter into the shopping cart, you know. And so I don't think you're gonna get the trash and all that stuff. And people they're always in a hurry, it seems like, to go in and out. So it's just something to consider, you know, if you wanted to defer those extra spaces. I don't think you're gonna be wrong with that. The other restaurant that's gonna go in there, you know, it's just a development, you know. I mean, you've got these, you know, Wendy's down the street. You've got the Burger King that's been over down by the Shell station there. It's been there for, boy, I don't know how long. It's been there for probably 40 years or something like that now. And you know, we talk about getting in and out of a place with the traffic. I mean, talk about that place. You know, you're coming over the hill to turn right into Burger King and you're trying to get out and people are trying to cut across the traffic going up the hill on Bridge Street. You know, that is a dangerous place right there. You know, I don't know what you can do about that, but that's done. You know, I mean, this here is, I mean, the traffic is a problem when there's an accident on 91 and it's all backed up. This is obviously the next, you know, alternate route for people to drive down, you know, and it's a pain in the ass, no question. You know, it's, you know, it does happen, you know, and that's the problem with living on a state highway like that. It probably was a lot better before 91 was built. So you have to consider that too. Yeah, mainly that's all my concerns were. It's just about the curb cut. You know, maybe the traffic lights, you know, I don't know, you know, you're close to the other intersection up there on Bridge Street, North Road. I don't know if it's gonna be needed in the future, maybe. You know, it's something you have to wait and see, I think. But I don't know, you know, I just dealing with the Aldi, I think people they shop faster. They're usually going in for certain things. They don't hold a lot of items. They don't have every item, you know, so they have a limited number of items. So, you know, they're going in to get, you know, things for the next 3 days or something like that, in and out of there, probably in 20 minutes, you know. So I think you're probably going to get a higher turnover than a normal supermarket like a Walmart or even Geissler's, you know. It's a different kind of shopping, you know. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make some comment for consideration regarding snow removal and just pushing it all to the back of the lot. It's slope down to the DOT. So if there's anything that's gonna stop in, when we have a lot of snow, it doesn't melt. Is there anything that can stop it from going into the DOT?
I think it was stated earlier, there is a fence there.
There's a fence, okay.
Okay, is there anyone online that would like to speak on this application? Okay, hearing none. Tim, would you like to comment on any of these items that were brought up? Absolutely. Let's,
Well, I'd like to add one thing too, to your list. Turning radius for trucks delivering to Starbucks in the future, for delivery.
Okay.
That's it.
can I have a motion? What would you like, 5 or 10? Okay, we have a motion for a 10-minute recess?
I'll make a motion for a 10-minute recess.
We have a motion for a 10-minute recess. Do we have a second? Second. Call for vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are at recess at 8:21.
Hey, kid.
Okay, I got 8:31. I'm gonna call the meeting back to order.
Are we on?
Yep, we are live. We're rolling. Mr. Coon. Yep.
Is that the print?
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Just so we don't miss things for the next meeting, you want to just kind of run down through the questions or things that people were also asking for? So obviously traffic was a huge one. We talked about parking deferrals, we talked about parking setbacks, which already addressed that, landscape buffers, any kind of screening, for neighboring homes, anything to prevent trash from migrating, or what kind of a property maintenance program you plan on having? Is it during business hours, off hours? Let's see. Storage of snow removal equipment, is gonna be on pavement, off pavement. The road widening project, how much encroachment into the right of way may be expected on that? I think that's,
Turning radius for Starbucks
Yeah.
or whatever store.
yep, turning radiuses,
The better.
correct, yep, we did speak about that earlier.
So how do you? Honestly, the only phase one is on this general development. That's the only place that goes in. All the other. This is the only one that shows. Nothing else. Draw a line here, so it's 25.
Well, your general development plan, your layout plan shows the phase two. Your grading and erosion control shows it.
Yeah.
Your utility plan shows it.
He showed it to show it kind of gray field in the background. Just to, it's shown as future restaurant, but I can.
Right, no, I'm just,
Too.
but as far as like where the pavement is going to stop, okay. You know, will you put the dumpster pad in? The sign, it looks like it's already in the section of where it's gonna be in phase two. Kind of a better delineation of when you complete and are ready for your CFO, what's it gonna look like? Okay, so if that, we will, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing on PZ 2025-5 for Araya Hospitality Group LLC requesting a site plan review special use permit for the general development plan for Aldi's and a future restaurant with a drive-through at 151 Prospect Hill Road until our next regular meeting, which
It is
April something,
April 8th.
April 8th.
We have a motion to continue the public hearing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. We are continued to April 8th. Okay. We have nothing under old business. Nothing under new business. Excuse me, gentlemen, our meeting is not concluded. We still have other business to take care of. Thank you. So next on our agenda is our ZEO report. Yeah.
Thanks, Alan.
And 36
Newberry.
Newberry, that's when they cleared the lot,
Yep. So that's,
waiting for the season's change.
okay.
Newberry Village area that a berm was put in the conservation easement in the wetlands. The berm has been removed, but there's grading and seeding left to be done, and there's fines occurring on that as well. The auto sweep, I understand Danielle had 2 violations she was bringing up. Did all the auto dealers, and she got some good cooperation. So she's, I think last time she had like 10
Yeah.
to follow up on too, so. Good. 56 Reservoir, looks like that's ongoing, but they've checked in with her. 27 Woolham, that they started to work on that. I don't know if folks have noticed, that was the down by Public Works, the truck that was way close to the road. And
Mhm.
so they've been working, they put some structures up to some of their, car parts or pieces of the cars. So they're working on cleaning that up. Unpermitted signs, looks like she sent a reminder to one and an NOB, I think 115 North is the storage place. It just, banners keep going up.
A lot of competition in town now.
130 Depot. An NOV was sent, as there were previous violations there. That's many unregistered vehicles. Front. And then 140 South Main. This one was, they don't have a license. It can be MB. And a citation went out. It was reported. Okay.
We have nothing under correspondence, nothing under business meeting. No need for executive session. Just want to remind everybody who signed up for the annual meeting on Thursday, that it's this Thursday at 5 PM. Doors open at 5, it starts at 6.
Aquaturf.
Yeah. If anyone else have anything else they'd like to discuss, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Dave. Call for vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:41.